Hello, PCA community. Welcome back. Happy 2025 week 2. We're about to start on a series of topics that are really oriented toward how we run the school and are thinking about the future. And just with the world as it is and recent events, I really wanted to introduce you to two people who are really focused on ensuring as best we can that PCA stays a safe, welcoming, and cared for place. So you're going to hear from our operations officer, and you can hear from our school nurse. And what I'd love for them to do is just introduce themselves to you. So operations officer, kick us off.
So I'm Steve Howe. I'm the operating officer at PCA. I supervise the nurse, the security, the facilities, and the IT folks. The last 8 years I spent 24 years in the Army. After that, in the last 8 years I spent in education. The last 5 of which was teaching at Lawrence High School. Massachusetts, yeah. Right. And then applied for the operations job and got that. Other than being the operations officer, I'm also a PCA parent. I have a 9th grader and a 7th grader, and have really enjoyed the commute with my kids, coming to work and at school at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think, one of the neat things about this job is teaching in public school for 5 years really gave me a glimpse into just how much our faith is under assault by the greater culture, and that having a vibrant Christian education option in the Seacoast is really important. So that's been pretty neat.
That's cool. Hey, Steve, share a little bit. I know you weren't going to probably do this, but share a little bit about your own experience in the Army that may have lend directly to what you do on the operations side.
Sure. So most of my career I spent in planning and operations. 20 years I was in special forces, so I did a lot of training foreign forces and then doing the operations and plans at the operational and strategic level. I worked with other government organizations doing security assessments in Africa. My initial job when I came into the Army, I was a maintenance guy, so I had a little bit of logistics and then planning and operations. So I was kind of my military career really reflects a lot of the areas that are under my supervision.
Yeah. I think one of the things that really struck me as well, beyond that even, was that, you worked at the collegiate level, a couple of times. One is you led an RTC program. You worked at another one for sure. And that you also worked with National Guard. I mean, you've worked with a diverse group of people and solving problems, real operational problems, and security ones as well. So that's great. Thanks, Steve. And our head nurse here at PCA, please introduce yourselves to us.
Yes, my name's Jolene Sbrizza. This is my 3rd year here at PCA as the lead nurse. My primary nursing experience is in cardiac nursing. I've been a nurse for 20 years. And I am an alumni, class of 2000, and also a PCA parent.
Go Eagles. Yes. This is your 25th year.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great. Well, thank you, Jolene. Yeah, that's awesome. I knew you were an alum. I didn't know you were in class of 2000. We were just talking the other day about connecting with the 5-year classes for 2025 graduating this year. So your class came up. Obviously, it's the first graduating senior, I think it was 97.
Yes, we were the first graduating class from this campus.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. That's really cool. Well, we want to share a little bit with you listeners just how we're thinking about health, safety, and security kind of at some pretty high levels. And again, there's a lot more to everything we're going to talk about today. If you're interested in knowing more, please reach out. But I did ask both of these leaders to come and focus us a little bit. And Steve, if we could start with you, with so many things in all the areas that you cover, what are just 1 or 2 big ideas about safety and health at PCA that you'd like them to maybe take away or think about?
Well, I think with the events in the country and other things that, the main thing takeaway is that I want parents to understand and know that we take the safety of their kids or their children, extremely seriously. And that we have plans and procedures in place, and we have good people, competent people in those key positions to make sure that safety is provided for, either health or physical security.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate the fact, and folks, you may not know, I was able to put a lot of attention on this, but Steve's been able to take it both with the experience that he's had in the past, but also really to focus on this, everything from the emergency operations procedures to some of our training and exercising that he's picked up this year. So, yeah, and beyond just yourself, can you just sort of outline who else is on the security team in particular?
Sure. So we have Gene Watson is the primary security guru. He's been at this for several years now. He's a volunteer and just is an amazing asset and for PCA.
Yeah.
And he's been instrumental in getting other volunteers to volunteer to work on the Eagle Eyes, which is just people on campus looking for things that are that are out of place and not quite right, and then making sure that we're aware of that. And so it's not you don't actually interact with that, but you're just keeping an eye out and being aware of what's going on.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about Eagle Eyes, and we can touch on this. But there's something new we started actually right before you got here, the year before. People may see them, maybe see these security trucks out there. Who are they? What are they doing?
So the Eagle Eye volunteers, they're volunteers that are associated somehow with the school, whether a grandparent, the parent, or some way. And they've come in, they've applied. We do a background check on them, and then, like I said, they're not a security resource or school resource officer, but it's a school volunteer that is making sure that we are aware of anything that's out of place or is a potential threat. And so Gene has brought that up to where we have coverage of those volunteers almost every day. So 1 or 2 volunteers a day. So if you see somebody in a security shirt or something like that, that's a volunteer that's doing it out of the goodness of their heart and because they really support and believe in the mission of PCA.
Yeah, they're a great profile. They've obviously applied. They're given a couple of things. They're given some training. They're given some equipment in order to be those Eagle Eyes and get us moving if we need to. Tell a little bit about some of that so people know it isn't just somebody walking around, although it is, but it's more than that.
Right. There's a different, the New Hampshire Department of Homeland Security runs courses. And so some of our guys have gone to that. Gene's gone to multiple with the different response trainings to active threats and things like that. A lot of they'll do the CPR class, if we can get them into the Jolene's class. Yeah. And so those are the types of first aid as well as response, and then we'll run them with when we do the tabletop exercises for running the command and control segment for the response teams, and then we incorporate them into that as well.
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, these men and women are given a radio. So they have access. They're trained on how to use it. They do a lot of checks. They check doors and security. I mean, some of the things that Steve, we've talked about in the past as we review these other incidents is doors are unlocked, exterior doors. These Eagle Eyes folks, they're out and present, but they're also checking, confirming, reminding. But their presence is big. One of the things I recall that before you got here, that when Gene had organized some visits from exterior agencies to help us be more secure, is that we have both the blessing and the challenge of being an end of one long road. But one of the things I said, the blessing is that you get a long look at folks coming down that road. And when they see people who are active and present, they do not want to go down. They want to be able to come in from multiple ways. And Eagle Eyes really provides that posture to anybody who may be considering just sort of wandering around. And so I just, and they have the radio and they know the school and they have keys and they check and they're a great asset. I really appreciate you and Gene leading that effort.
Yep.
So that's great. Jolene, over to you a little bit. You provide, you and your team, you could talk a little bit about your medical team because you've got some great medical staff members here and you provide medical care, but you also provide a lot more about it. Just tell us a little bit about your office and what you do.
Yeah. So there's myself, and then there's 2 other nurses that are part-time that share the remainder of the week, Erin Passe and Bethany Carcady. And we really, our office is just a space where obviously injuries and illnesses, but also kids come with just needing like verbal reassurance, a place to take a break or a rest. For middle school students, the focus shifts a little bit. I feel like it often is a safe place where we're not overseeing academics, we're not overseeing behavior, and it's just a place where they can share or ask questions. And it just provides us a good opportunity to encourage values like integrity or prayer and perseverance and things like that. And obviously educating self-care with injuries and how to get through those things as well.
Yeah. For our listeners, one of the things that Jolene brought to me, well, I don't know, it's probably now a year and a half ago. And you saw it in the media, but we saw it, ladies and gentlemen, but we saw it here too. Jolene was picking up. It's just this pressure that I would just put in under the broad category, Jolene, of just mental health for our students. And, I want to give you the opportunity a little bit just to sort of talk about broadly both what you're seeing and have seen and what we're able to do and what we're not able to do with regard to that.
Yeah. So here at PCA, we're really fortunate because we have a great community of families who are really invested in their students and the overall well-being. But we do see primarily students with anxiety, worry, and as students are older, there's more issues with body image, difficult interactions with friends, conversations, situations, and also some more significant needs as well. And our response to that has been, we've had more focus on that, and we have had an opportunity to create more systems for responding and supporting families, walking alongside students and their parents during that time. We have created a list of faith-based resources for families, and also our staff, the principals, the assistant principals, Dean of Men, Dean of Women's. They've just been really wonderful walking alongside students and parents and teachers as well as they go through that time.
Yeah, based on your experience, I mean, if you're a parent, how surprised you should be that whether or not your child may or may not be going through some of these at some period of their time in their growing up years.
Yeah, I don't think it comes to as a surprise much at all, especially during these seasons and especially middle school and high school ages. We do occasionally see it in the elementary school grades as well. But it is unfortunately a common thing that we do see just in the general community outside and inside PCA.
And I think there's more attention that's being brought to it as well, both in terms of some cases, this does happen and we can talk about it. We need to do it and we need to partner well with parents. And I think one of the things I was struck, really by both of you as we, prepared for this school year and is that, we have some capacity, but very limited in being able to deal with ongoing, certainly mental health struggles that our students may be going through. Can you share a little bit about what we can do and where we really need moms and dads to be able to pick up and then go from there? You mentioned a couple of resources too. So
yeah. So in the past, with more significant things that we have gone through with families, our role is when we are able to identify, we do screenings for suicide ideation, anxiety, and depression in all age groups. And we're able to identify and then also bring that to the parents. And like I mentioned, bringing it to the parents with a list of resources for them to be able to tap into their faith-based counselors in different communities across the Seacoast, and then just continuing to support them academically and emotionally with their needs while they're out of school or in school.
Yeah. Any sort of things that you might be able to give moms and dads as a parent, during these wonderful, sometimes challenging days and seasons for their kids? Just what they could be thinking about or watching for, or when to reach out to you and connect.
Yeah, I think communication is the most important. I think obviously communication with your children, keeping that open communication, but also communicating with your teachers, your students' teachers, even the health office or even principals if you have a concern or any thoughts that you may have if you're going through something with your student that we can help with or walk alongside you, providing those resources. But I think the biggest thing is communication, communicating with the health office, communicating with teachers and principals if there's something that you're concerned about.
And we'll do the same back to you, mom and dad.
Absolutely.
So, this is one area that, safety, security, life, health, safety, is really important for you. It's important for us. We care about your kids, and that's really, really, really important. So you both touched on a little bit, or Steve a little bit more, but can you just talk a little bit about, without going into a lot of detail, but just an overview of how do we train safety and security at PCA?
Sure. So there's local, state, and federal requirements that we have to achieve or adhere to, and so we follow those. And then as a school, one of the things we're very tied in with the local community. So in August we'll have the Dover Police Department has been very gracious and has sent their school resource officers. They come in, they'll review what we do. We talk to them, make sure that our emergency and security people are online with theirs. They'll walk through the classrooms with the different teachers, talk through different scenarios so that the teachers have an idea of what to do when we do those drills. We conduct, we have a relationship with Garrison Elementary School down the road.
Yeah.
That, we've both exchanged, different talking points on emergency operation plans. And so that's a really good relationship there. And then we still do the old school fire drills.
Yes, we do.
And so, we have the two, they break down into either everybody in or everybody out. And then we kind of shift off of those based on the situation. But so those are the kinds of things where, the community, where we get the teachers and the students are trained on how to respond. And then we have a smaller group that will stand up the emergency operations center, the command and control element that will oversee something that's a little bit longer of a situation.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I feel that's really good overview, and I appreciate it. How about you, Jolene, just on the medical side? I mean, obviously you've got the two nurses, but I think we've got coaches, there's some other, we have athletics, and just how do we cover that? How do we make sure that we have good coverage, whether it's field trips or, sort of 670 kids running around day to day?
Yeah.
Only two of you.
I think having two has been very important, just being able to provide care and quick response to needs, and also providing nursing care to the upper school students as well. We have been able to provide CPR classes for staff twice a year to ensure that the appropriate people have that, is including coaches and people who are with students after school in the theater and kaleidoscope, all those after school things when a lot of people are out of the building. And then over the time that I've been here, we've just created new systems for tracking illnesses, identifying where needs are for increased cleaning. And we've also created a way to communicate with teachers, student need information while maintaining confidentiality.
Yeah.
Keeping students with allergies or medical needs or things like that, so that people who need to know.
Yeah, I remember when you started to put that in place, it was a great initiative, finding that balance, right? Finding that balance of getting the information to those who need to know, protecting their privacy.
Right.
So moms and dads, just know that we take that very seriously. Jolene does too. If you have any questions or concerns, please do reach out.
Absolutely.
So I think this idea of just ongoing training, one of the things I've really been impressed by all of you, and I'd include Gene here if he could be here, but just this ongoing work or they have contact with state. I know, Jolene, you have contact with state agencies as well, or tied into that network. And so, we value being an independent school in the sense that we can make those decisions we think best for our community. At the same time, we have really good allies locally and the state level, even the federal level, who really want, the same things we all want, is that our school community is safe and healthy. And so I just sort of, in closing here, we're a little over 20 minutes. If there are any things that you want to share, Steve, with parents, just about things that they can help us with, especially on the security side. Sure. Jolene, anything you want to close with for parents on that health side.
Sure. I think, the first that we would ask is that they would pray, about the safety of the school and the folks that are working and supporting their children. And then the other is, that when we're doing the drills, or when, we have to do it for real, that they would, reinforce with their children in an age appropriate way that, their job is to listen to be quiet and listen to the teacher and through that drill, time and time again, you look at the timelines on some of these events, and the first 5 to 10 minutes of these events are critical, and to be able to get into the right posture and execute that in a fast and controlled manner is oftentimes the difference between the happy outcome and or something that, a tragic one. And then finally, if there's parents or grandparents or anybody that has security skills, or even if you don't have security skills, but you have, you're willing to be a part of the Eagle Eye program, that we would love to have you come in and talk to us. And, if there's anybody out there with other security skills that would that wouldn't mind me bouncing stuff off them, that'd be great too. So.
Great. Super. Well, thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, Jolene.
Yeah, I would say I would just circle back through to communication. I think it's very important in knowing that we're partnering with parents, supporting their students to be successful in all facets of learning, including their health. And if there's any concerns, obviously with the mental health or physical injuries or illnesses, that all is helpful for us in caring for the kids while they're here at school.
Yeah, one of the things that moms and dads, and maybe others who are listening, even students, that one of the things that I hear regularly that you all value about PCA is that the families are very much involved. And, as you probably heard, is in both of these leaders have asked for your connection and partnership. We want to keep that going. And we mean that. And we know that your care about life, health, safety of your kids and your classmates is front and center and assumed. And just know that don't assume it, but we work diligently and joyfully every day and prayerfully. We pray every day, don't we, Steve?
We do.
And Jolene, in our stand-up meetings, we pray for the safety and safeguarding, knowing that we have to do our work too. And we look forward to doing that. And so while today's topic was obviously a little heavier than most, but we wanted to be clear with you as a community, where we're at, what we're doing. Really wanted you to hear the voices of these two dedicated leaders who their primary purpose here at PCA is to ensure your kids have a safe, healthy place to come learn, grow into their God-given potential. So thank you both very much, and your fellow teammates, both on staff and volunteers. And moms and dads, again, if you have any questions, please reach out. That we know this one may garner a few questions. And you'll see the link below for any feedback. That's a great way to connect with us. So God bless you. Next week, we plan on having a special introduction just on AI and your kids. And kind of, believe it or not, there's AI at school right now. And we don't want you to be concerned about it, but we also want you to be aware. And we have our own questions and concerns too, even as we explore it. So that's next week, right here on Mondays with Mike. God bless you. Until then, see you on campus soon.